And I thought, I could do this better because what's out there sucks. And I started to think about it at night. Like, I need to do this.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Ameer Approved. I got my good friend Dan Demsky here. Dan is a serial entrepreneur and currently the co-founder, I should say, or founder?
Co-founder, yeah.
Co-founder of Unbound Merino, which is an interesting company.
Thank you.
Yeah, very interesting. I've been on the sidelines paying attention what you've been doing for the last couple of years. And the reason why I have you on the show today is I want to talk to you about the roadmap that you took to build the company that you have today. Like, what was the process? I'm more or less curious, what was the inception, the idea to even begin this?
Okay. Well, I'll try to make a long story pretty short. It wasn't my first business. My first real business was a video production agency, which we ran for almost, but not quite a decade. I started in my mom's basement. My business partner and I were just doing freelance video, and we were really into it, really good at it. And getting these gigs started to stack upon themselves, one after the other. And we had to start charging more money. And all of a sudden we had this business because we were really good at doing what we do. And we really cared about the customer experience. And we loved it. And we grew that business like really rapidly from my mom's basement to like a downtown studio to like a big top floor awesome office space with all the staff. And the thing is when we grew that business, we didn't really know what we were doing. It was just happening. We didn't even really intend to start a business. And as the years went by, I found myself becoming more and more disillusioned with what I was doing. Like it was so exciting. And I felt like we were awesome. Like, wow, we grew this, business with 7-figure revenue, and we were in our early to mid 20s, and I was making money, and our clients were amazing. And we had all the staff, and I felt like this is great, but it just became monotonous. And I started not liking the industry, and I started feeling like I was doing a song and dance in boardrooms every day, and I had to. And I was just trying to find a way to do something different, but I was so stuck in that business. And because I felt stuck and because I lost passion for what I was doing, the business sort of went like, this was the growth. And then it sort of just kind of stayed stable. And then there was this descent, revenue and profitability that went down, but happiness and fulfillment was like just nosediving. I hated it. I'd get emails coming in with what would be the most glorious opportunity or in my early days. And I'm just like, I'd have to. So I knew that I wanted to create a new business, and I just didn't know what it was. All I knew was I don't want it to be a service business. I don't want to have to go in and say, this is what we do, and this is how much it costs, and sign here and we can get started, and rely on clients to sign a check so that I could eat at night. It was just giving too much power to the customer and way too much effort from me. It's like you put in this much work and then your max outcome is going to be that. It didn't scale. So this process of getting to Unbound Merino took years. And it took getting together with my business partner, my friends, the people who I started the business with, Unbound Merino. We'd just put a chalkboard out and come up with ideas. And we had crazy, weird ideas like, we had this idea to do art prints that would be, we'd find like small local artists from all different cities and do limited edition prints that you could only make 10 of them, and thinking that people would be into that. And sort of started like teasing out a business model, but that sort of phased out. Like, I don't know if people care about art prints. We think it's cool. Maybe other people won't. And just by happen chance, I ended up starting a sock company because my friend was starting it, and I started helping him just to help him.
Oh, I forgot you had that.
Yeah. And it was really fun. I really enjoyed doing it. Quickly into starting that, the guy I started with no longer wanted to do it. So he started it. I was helping. All of a sudden, I'm his business partner. He leaves, and I'm like, I'm doing a sock company. And we really had a cool creative slant on it, but we never were able to get that really off the ground. Sort of did. We started getting in a lot of stores. The product was really cool. We loved the quality. We loved the concept. But it wasn't any time soon I saw myself taking a salary from that business. So I'm like, how much harder do we need to grind? And I started thinking about, after all this time, why is it that this thing is not working? And I would think, okay, well, for starters, I think we got into this business when funky socks became this big thing.
Yeah.
Everyone's all of a sudden wearing these funky colored socks. So I guess when he started it, he was thinking, this is a big trend. Let's get into this industry. And in hindsight, that's the worst timing to ever get into a business. When something is really, really popular, it's already too late.
Mhm.
Everyone and their uncle started having a sock company. And I knew 4 people or 3 or 4 people who had sock companies. Like,
Well, Boris here in Toronto, Soxy.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then there was Cole and Parker.
Yeah, that's
and
right,
There was
yeah.
just all like how many people need funky socks? And why pick ours over theirs? I think our story's cool, and some people did, but there's just way too much. There's just way too many people in that massive, massive crowded industry. So that was sort of, I think, the thing that I dwelled on. And then also I started looking at funky socks and I got bored of them. I'm like, okay, these were fun and crazy, but are these just like the new like piano tie, you know? Like people in the 80s wear these piano ties and all of a sudden it's ridiculous. So I started thinking, damn, like, I don't know if this thing has a lot of legs. And Unbound Merino came as a concept because I was looking for a way to pack lighter. Because traveling with my wife is a huge pain in the ass with the amount of luggage that you need to bring. You know, we went on this trip. We were going to Athens, Greece, London, England, and another small town in Greece. And we're going to this nice dinner, and we're going to friends, we're going to this and that. So the suitcase just got bigger and bigger and bigger with all of the options. And when we got to this town, Hydra in Greece, there's no roads. And the hotel is right, of course, at the top of this hill. There's cobblestone steps going up. And the only way you can get your stuff up there is you schlep it up yourself or you hire a donkey. Pay a guy and the donkey will schlep it up for you. And I'm like, I'm not paying a donkey to take my bag, you know? And I remember getting up to that hotel and I was just dripping sweat. And when my wife opened that suitcase, I just looked at all the stuff in there. I'm like, did you wear that? Did you wear that? This is all stuff she wasn't wearing. She was just in case stuff. And I said, okay, the next trip that we go on, we're going just with carry-ons. Is this story too long, by the way? Or am I just like,
No,
it's okay? Just
go for it, yeah.
this is how there is a point to like why we decided this is a good idea. And we didn't forget about that idea. We're going to go and wherever we go, no matter what the trip, we're going to bring just a carry-on. That's it. And sure enough, that next trip ended up being our honeymoon. And we went to Croatia, Italy, Montenegro, Slovenia. And I started Googling, how do you travel overseas for a long period of time, just carry on? I was reading all these Reddit posts and blog posts, and I came across this post talking about this person who uses merino wool clothing because it's antibacterial and it's odor resistant. So instead of packing like 14 shirts, you could pack 2 or 3 because you can rewear them without having to wash them every single time because it won't smell. You know, that's it. This is great. Where do you find this stuff? Well, you find it at stores like MEC, which is like a mountain equipment co-op in Canada, or REI in the States, Patagonia, Europe Bound, which was like another camping kind of store. And I live on a street where all of these stores are. So if anyone has access to this kind of clothing, I'm right in the district. And I went around to all the stores and I couldn't believe how ridiculous this merino wool stuff looked. I remember being in MEC and they had this one shirt. It had like a timber wolf on it howling at the moon and it said, "Live free." And the shirt was $110. And like, this is the kind of stuff that you find in a lost and found. If you like were like stranded somewhere, you'd have clothing. Like it's like, I couldn't believe that someone would pay $110 for this. And then the stuff that didn't say "Live free" with a timber wolf on it looked like activewear, which is fine. If you're going, running you're going jogging or you're going portaging or something. But when I was going on a trip, and I ended up buying some of this stuff because it's all the only options we had. I remember going on this trip and feeling like I'm not wearing the stuff I want to wear. Like I'm going to a cocktail bar. I don't want to be wearing like some like running shirt. It looks like I'm supposed to be going running. It has like a reflective logo and stuff. And I started digging and digging and digging, and I just couldn't find good quality merino wool stuff that was simple, stylish, and basic. The kind of stuff I'm not into fashion. I'm pretty anti-fashion. I just want to wear like nice looking, simple stuff that performs. And I felt like no one was doing it. And I started to think of my friends who created these really great e-commerce businesses. Alex Icon and Mimi Icon with Luxy Hair. They made this amazing, awesome e-commerce business. And then my friend started D-Brand, which is the world's like largest manufacturer of vinyl skins for smartphones, laptops, and all. And I was a partner in that business for a bit, and I got bought out. But I was very close to the start of that business, and I saw Luxy Hair get started. I remember when just this idea. And when I looked at, those are two examples of people I looked at, I thought, what made these businesses really take off? That's different from Hitsu Socks, my sock company, which was just kind of like lagging on the ground level. And it really was just timing. And I remember Alex's story about looking for hair extensions for when he was getting married to Mimi, and how they went online and they were just so disillusioned with what was out there, the customer service of the stores or the inventory or the shipping from UK because they didn't have it in Canada or the US, and all these problems. And they thought, hey, we could do this better. And D-Brand had a similar genesis where it's like, the story of D-Brand quickly is he bought these like really expensive Beats by Dre headphones. He thought they were so cool. And then he was on his university campus and he saw everyone had them. He thought, man, screw this. He no longer wanted to have these like lame looking. He thought they were lame looking now because everyone was trying to look cool with these Beats by Dre. So he took a pocket knife and he cut some hockey tape and he like perfectly skinned them to be matte black, and they look badass. And someone said to him, like, hey, that's an awesome skin you have on those headphones. And he didn't even know like that there were skins. That was a thing. So he started looking online and seeing companies sell these. So he ordered them, and he thought that they were so crap that he could do better with a pocket knife and hockey tape. So he got into the business because he thought, I could do this better. So I drew on those stories, and I thought, I could do this better because what's out there sucks. And I started to think about it at night. Like, I need to do this. And I talked to a friend of mine who's a business coach, and I explained the whole idea, and he knew of merino wool and thought, he's like, Dan, this idea is fantastic. He's like, but you can't do it. And I was like, what? And he said, I'm, between your two companies, trying to get the sock company off the ground and your video production agency, where are you going to find the time to do this? And he was kind of right. Like, I was already spread so thin. Everything was suffering. I wasn't even paying myself a salary for my company anymore. Like, I was just like, I was in the shit, but I was focused on finding that next thing. And I was up at night, literally thinking, like, I got to do this. I have to figure it out. And we decided to give it a shot, but do it in crowdfunding. And we did crowdfunding for two reasons. One, I didn't have the dough to go and start a clothing company, not knowing whether it would work or not. And two, it was a way of validating the concept. It's like, I can do my best to try to come up with prototypes and then pitch those prototypes and see if it catches on.
Now, what did you do with the agency? Did you leave it? Did you get bought out? Because, as your coach said, you only have so much time to focus.
Right. So I was still working on both the sock company and the video production agency. And the crowdfunding, the third part of the crowdfunding campaign, why it was a way in for us, is that we didn't have to work full time or even part time. Like, we could work really part time. And the two guys I started with, one has young kids, so he couldn't really devote tons of, and he had a full time job. So we had to carve like Friday starting at 8 to 8:30 p.m. and we can go till 1, 2, 3, however late we can, keep the gas running. And that's how we did it. So we did it over the course of a year. We sourced manufacturers, built out prototypes, came up with a brand, came up with the marketing, and it was probably a year to a year and a half that took us from the idea to getting all the prototypes done, doing all the photography and the video, to doing the branding, to creating everything. And then after all of those weekends and some early mornings and the occasional day off that we'd book to work on this, that was what we had. We had this package, which was a crowdfunding campaign, and click start. And you cross your fingers and you do all your homework to figure out how can you make this crowdfunding campaign work. And I leaned on everybody, and I just crossed my fingers. And I thought, if it doesn't work, at least I tried my best. We did a bang up job, and I'll know that this is not a good idea. The market's not ready for it, or they're not interested, or they just don't care like I do. And at the very least, I'll have tons of our own prototypes. I can have it for me. And it was fun. I got to hang out with my friends and drink lots of great whiskey and stuff. And we were trying to raise 30,000. Really, we need 70, but we said we needed 30,000. And we did almost 400,000. Like, it just, first was all friends and family, but then it just started taking life of its own. And that was the start. And
what do you think was one of the main levers that took it to 400,000?
Specifically for the crowdfunding campaign?
Yes.
There are so many. And I did a Reddit post about all the things that I did that were, like, I guess unique. Like, I leaned on all the great blog posts that I could find out there and worked on the tactics. But if there was one that really stands out, we did Indiegogo, and they have a thing that if you get to 30% of your campaign goal, you can do a deal with them. They'll put you in their newsletter marketing, which is like huge. A lot of people buy from it. So that's why we said we only needed 30,000, because I'm like, I bet you I could wrangle up $10,000.
Oh, so if you get 30% of the 30,000 to put you in the newsletter.
Yeah, so I need to get like 10,000.
Yeah.
Right? So if I made it 70,000, which is what we really need, I'd have to go get. How can we get? We need to get 20,000 plus in the first 48 hours. So we just gamed the system a little bit. I mean, it's not. They don't really care how you do it.
Within the first 48 hours, you have to do it, or
first 48 hours, you need to get
30%.
30%.
Gotcha.
So for a month leading up to it, was just knocking on. I was messaging everyone on my Facebook, but I wasn't just messaging.
Yeah.
Because if you mass message people, they know that they can tell that it's a mass message, and they
spam.
They can just close it and like not reply. What we did is first I asked them all. I said, "Hey, can I ask a favor of you?" And I said, "I'm going to be launching a clothing company in like a month from now, or whatever the time was, and I'm really trying to get this thing off the ground. It's been a labor of love for a year and a half, and I just need support. If you're okay, don't feel any pressure. But if you feel like you could buy a shirt off us, and they're a bit expensive, the early bird price was going to be like $45 or $50 US for a t-shirt. It would mean so much to me, but it's an unbelievable shirt, and this is the best price that you're ever going to get because it's our early bird price. Are you willing to?" And most people said, yeah. Some people said, "You know what? I just can't be spending any money right now." Or some people didn't reply. But when the day came that we were launched, instead of asking again, I created a video, one for each person that I wanted to ask. So it would be like, I just turn the webcam on and be like, "Ameer, how are you? It's Dan. Remember I told you I was running that? Well, we just launched it. It just launched today, and we're so proud of how it turned out, but we're really nervous. We're really hoping we can get your support." And whatever I asked. So then you get in your Facebook Messenger inbox this little like thumbnail, and you see my face, and it says ameerrosic.mov. And it doesn't look like a scam or anything, because you see it's me.
Hey, you did this. You did the things that don't scale.
Yeah,
I made it personable one-to-one.
Yeah, and we stayed up all night for nights building out this library of videos, me and Andrew, and just like, some of them got crazy because we had to drink while we were doing it just because it was so bored. So some of them got like, we were hammered, and some of them got nuts. But people watched it, and they felt like, okay, that was for me. It was very personal, and they are asking for, I can do it. So it was very easy for us to get that first $10,000 in sales. So if we did it in like a couple hours or something, it was all friends and family. And I remember seeing, it's like Brian Demsky, my brother, or Sandy, my business partner's cousin. I remember these names coming in with all these orders, just people I know. And then once you got to 10,000, the crowdfunding algorithm sort of like views you as a trending campaign. There's all this traffic. And then you start seeing like Johannes in Berlin. Who's that guy? I started seeing these other names, and it just kept coming. And then we started buying ads so that we could keep the traffic high. And it had this illusion of being a very successful campaign very fast. So it took a life of its own. And I thought, holy shit, this thing might work. And then I had to make decisions in my life. Okay, well, I was so unhappy before, and now I have this thing that I really believe in. It's so authentically me. So I have to make the decision. Do I continue with this and leave everything behind? And that's what I did.
How did that process look like?
I said to my business partner, I can't be in this business anymore. It's not like I could sell it.
This is both for the socks and the agency?
Both.
Yeah.
The agency wasn't worth anything in the sense that it's only worth as much as your next client job. Like, what are we going to, there's no assets in it. It's like we have some camera gear and stuff like that. But I stopped paying myself a salary. I said, I need to focus on this. I moved into it. My business partner runs that business and he does way better without me. There's one less like,
Less chef and or
he wound it down,
Yeah.
made it more simple, and the revenue there's way less overhead to deal with. So he just does it so much better. And it just worked out so well for him. And it worked out for me. I just like kind of cleanly just stepped into a new career or a new business. And it's just going
Was that
great.
conversation easy?
It was with him, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's cool.
And the socks was the same thing?
Yeah, it was a little less.
Well, he left, right? It was just you? Or
Well, yeah, but then I had another partner after, and yeah, that's another conversation. He's a great guy. Just he wasn't happy with me because I kind of like all of a sudden I was just like, and I was gone.
What was the next step after the crowdfunding?
Well,
Because you guys ended up raising 400,000,
yeah,
right? It's
yeah,
pretty crazy.
So that all went into inventory, right?
Yeah.
So then, it still had a feeling of we got to be bold here, go all in because we have a start here. We got 400,000. That includes, some of the costs of running the campaign. But most of it just went to inventory. We were very paranoid about quality. So we did a lot of our manufacturing in China. So we wanted to make sure we were going to the factories to monitor the quality ourselves, even though we don't really know what we're doing with quality assurance, but it helped, that we were seeing the product and measuring it and trying it on while we were there, but also to go and visit the factories. So we felt like it was a place we could be proud to do business. Because you hear things all the time like, they have like children working in these factories and stuff. And I hear it's not true, but I don't really know. So I wanted to go there and feel like, yeah, I can manufacture. So that was a part of our budget, but that money was all accounted for immediately. It's all to inventory, all to shipping out to all the Indiegogo backers, and then having an inventory and building a small warehouse, which we did in like a 10 by 20 foot storage locker. That was our first like office. Actually, we moved in there 3 years ago today. I was on Time Hop, the app. And we felt like we had all the pieces in place to start a really great business, but this was not a business yet. That was just a crowdfunding campaign. We were very fearful that we're going to go and start this web store and all of that like buzz that we got from crowdfunding won't continue. But we had to just have faith in that we could do it. So we put up our web store, and I'll never forget, we launched it, we opened on December 6th, and we were planning out a big launch. We're going to, email all the people and do tweets and all that stuff. Like, we're open, the store is open, whatever. And we've started our Shopify store, and we're going back in, next few days to like fix some of the photography and some of the copy and all this stuff. And after a few days, I remember going to the shop. We're at a Starbucks. We went to the Shopify backend, and there was all these orders, and we didn't even announce the store. And we're just like, whoa, that's crazy. How do these people even find us?
Yeah. How did it find you?
I mean, it's pretty obvious in hindsight. We sold 2,000 customers to crowdfunding. People knew who we were. So we were now shipping all this stuff for months. So people were Googling to find us, and they'd not just find the crowdfunding campaign, but now this website. So they were searching for us and finding us because there was enough people that there was some word of mouth started getting generated. We rushed to our warehouse. We shipped those it's like maybe a dozen orders or something. And I thought, we have a business. That was when I knew, I'm like, this thing has legs, because there was no marketing since crowdfunding. That was people looking for us.
Yeah. You found a gap that people needed.
Yeah, people got it and they liked our stuff enough to like loop back and buy more or tell their friends. So that was sort of the start, and it's just been growing. It's just steadily. I mean, people keep coming back. We have people who've bought off us. Like, we started shipping just over. It was 3 years ago, right about now, from crowdfunding. Didn't launch our store till December, but in that time, we've had people have bought off us like 15 times, like one customer. Some like many have bought like close to 10.
And you mentioned at the beginning, mentioned Alex, a mutual friend of ours, and D-Brand. And the key was timing of the market. Would you say that's one of the key things that happened here as well?
I think that's the biggest. It's all success. I think comes from a lot of your like initiative and execution and your hard work, but there's a huge part is luck and timing. Timing is also like,
to me, timing.
It's not luck. It's like it's a decision.
Yeah,
but timing's huge, and I don't think a lot of people talk about it that much. It's like
I think 90% of business is all timing.
I agree. I don't think a lot of people realize that. Just the right time. We were the right message in the right place at the right time. And I think that you can get that inspiration, and a lot of people do, when they're looking for something that they just can't find themselves. Like I remember coming back from Japan, the first time I went in Toronto, and I had so much ramen in Japan, and I fell in love. Like, this is amazing.
Yeah.
And I went, there was this one place that had pretty decent ramen and one place that had bad ramen in Toronto. It was the only places. And I was just thinking like, they got to bring ramen to the city. Like has to be like the food scene is blowing up in the city. There has to be more ramen. And just year after year, like you can't walk a block without incredible
They're
ramen.
everywhere, man. Yeah.
So it's just like that. It's like a second you're tuned in to something that's not right. Like, this could be better. It's really those moments that I think create the good ideas. That's where you could feel that timing. And if you have the grit and I guess the skill and the ability to execute, you could be the person to do it. Crowdfunding makes it that much easier. I wouldn't have been able to do it without crowdfunding. So I'm like always forever grateful to Indiegogo. I even emailed them and I was like, I tweeted at their like president. I'm like, you changed my life, man. Like it's huge. For me, it was huge because I didn't have the funds or the time or the energy to start a business the old fashioned way. Like I needed crowdfunding.
Are you guys using Indiegogo to launch new products?
Not anymore.
Okay.
We did once, and it was also awesome because as we were scaling, we just didn't have enough cash to fund the inventory we needed. Like we needed to just
cash flow is a big problem.
With the lead times, like we had to forecast like how much do we need for like the next 4 months before like we put this order in.
Because there's a minimum order that you have to order from the factories.
Yeah, but even with that, sometimes we needed to order more because we thought, our minimum order for our t-shirts would be 600. And we're like, we need more than 600 black crew neck t-shirts. We sell these like crazy and we're not going to get them for 4 months minimum. So you have to buy enough that will stock you for the 4 months that follow. But you have to look at your sales projection, come up with sales projection. We didn't even know what we're going to sell. Like in 4 months from now, it's going to be the holiday season. We're probably going to sell through tons. So we probably need more. Like you have to guess how much you need, and then you have to, put a deposit on it.
The colors and the sizes.
It costs so much money.
Yeah.
So because we were doing well, people wanted to invest in the business, and we were like very, very like careful not to jump.
Did you take any outside capital?
No.
Okay.
What we did was we ended up getting a loan, pretty low interest loan, which helped us get over a little hump, which we had to pay back within a year.
Private loan?
Yeah, just like a family friend I know who has tons of dough. I never wanted to ask for money. Like I just don't like doing it, but like fuck. So that was huge. Got a good loan from a family friend, but that was only enough to get us so far. And we were able to divide up the payments in monthly payments over a year. It was no problem to pay it back, but really we needed more money and we couldn't have asked this guy for more. So I'm like, what do? We can try to go to the bank. Bank wouldn't give us a loan because we weren't in business long enough. Do I know anyone else with money? Not really one that I could feel comfortable asking. Investors, there's a lot of there, but like it's so early in the company, like how much are we going to have to give for how much? And then we have someone breathing down our neck. Like it felt like not a good idea. So I was like, why don't we just do crowdfunding again? So we came up with our compact travel hoodie. And that was to crowdfund that inventory for the hoodie. But really it was to make profit because we needed to get a cash injection so we could buy the inventory. We needed the other stuff, not just the hoodie. We needed t-shirts, we needed underwear. So we did another crowdfunding campaign. But this time we had our own customer base. It was a little easier to get in. We didn't have to ask friends and family for anything. And we could cut a deal with Indiegogo that's even better because they know that we did well the first time.
Yeah, run me through that. So that you have negotiation power here then.
Yeah, well, you start to say, okay, we'll do it with you instead of Kickstarter, but we want you to give us guarantee us 3 newsletter distributions, and one of them has to be the feature because there's one that is the subject line and the top focus one.
Okay.
And they know that we have, and I'm like, here's our email list now. Like you can see the size of it. You saw what we did before. For them, it's just about having another successful campaign. They help us get successful. They make their cut.
What's their cut for that?
I forgot. It's a couple percent or something.
Couple percentage,
yeah. I don't remember. But it's well earned because they do help. That's why I like Indiegogo. I don't know if Kickstarter's I have nothing bad to say about it. I have no experience with them, but I do know that you can't email them or call them because they're so big.
Interesting.
But Indiegogo has they give you account reps, you talk to them, negotiate with you. That was super helpful. So we did the second one for the hoodie, and we did $400,000 again. And this time it was like a third of the work because we'd have to go and knock on everyone's door and make videos trying to convince our friends to buy things. It was just worked. So that gave us, it was like the cash injection we needed to get over that major hump. And that's what continues today. Just keep rolling with the momentum. It just keeps growing.
And you guys are on Amazon?
Hell no.
Really?
Yeah, no.
Tell me.
Okay, well, I don't like to usually talk about this publicly because I'm afraid of Jeff Bezos, the scary man, scary, evil man. The reason why I won't ever see us being on Amazon is because while you can make some good money and you can sell a lot of product there, and it's a huge, huge market, you don't get to own your customer list. So if you bought Unbound Merino on Amazon because we were on there, I would never know Ameer Rosic bought it. I wouldn't have your email. I wouldn't have any access to you. It gets fulfilled through Amazon, and Amazon just cakes all that data, and they find the products that are doing really well. And then when they see an opportunity, they go and make Amazon Basics version. They undercut you on price, and they squeeze you out of the search algorithm, and your big sales just drop one day, and you never know who any of those customers were. So I'd rather go the hard way, find them ourselves, get them on our own website, build our email list, and then we have access to that customer. That email is the most powerful marketing you have.
I have 2 things to touch base on that. I agree for email. I don't know if that's going to be the most powerful going in the future. I think there's diminishing returns on email as of late.
I disagree.
I can agree to disagree.
Okay.
Number 2, yeah, I'm quite aware of Amazon Basics. I even have a story to share about that. I was looking for a DSLR bag because my DSLR broke for my Canon camera. I go on Amazon and I'm not paying attention. I'm like, oh, there's a fucking DSLR bag. Order.
Yeah.
Comes to my house and I'm opening. I'm like, what the fuck is Amazon Basic?
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't even paying attention because I saw it looked identical to the Canon stuff.
Yeah.
Like the same look, the same shape. I'm like, Amazon Basic.
Might even be made in the same factory.
I wouldn't be surprised, right? So I'm like, yeah, there you go. They're undercutting top performing products. Mm-hmm. Your product is a commodity. It's nothing special. Everyone knows the factory it's made in. You just go in there in your Amazon, you undercut it. But I was wondering if you ever considered, this is kind of off cuff, but creating kind of like a loss leader product on Amazon where you're not selling your main stuff, but more something like low hanging fruit of brand awareness.
Someone's had given me that idea before. And I remember thinking that's kind of interesting, but it just doesn't seem worth it to me because we're going to have to go and invest money. Like, why don't I just invest money in all the other marketing that we're doing, which we're getting good at, and we can just get straight to the point, which is acquiring a customer that we have access to instead of putting a good product that makes our brand look good on Amazon and just like letting Amazon
Do you have to compete then with people's heuristics of the fact that Amazon has free shipping?
Yeah. So Amazon has set the bar for all e-commerce
Yes.
on what's reasonable, and it's very hard to live up to that. Amazon Prime is amazing.
It is.
It's unbelievable.
I fucking love it.
Yeah. I mean, I hate Amazon, but
Yeah.
I'm like, I gotta go home today. I know there's a Prime box of stuff in it. It's so fast. It's so good. And it changes people's perception of what is bare minimum of what they should expect for delivery. So you have to try to at least be somewhat within that realm. So we have very fast and free US shipping if you spend over $150.
If over 150, okay.
Yeah, which we might lower eventually, but because of the way we sell stuff in bundles, and it's a relatively expensive product. Our average order size is bigger than that. Most people will spend over 150. And it's pretty fast, and cheap in Canada too. We are not competing with Amazon if you're shipping to Europe. It's expensive and it takes a little bit. We'll get there if somehow. But yeah, that's like the goal. You have to try to live up to the unrealistic expectations of the Amazon
You're not
Prime
the first
customer.
one that's told me that I've actually known people who've taken their product off of Amazon.
Yeah. It's just a scary place. There's nothing redeeming about Jeff Bezos as a human.
Mm.
I mean, he's super impressive, like what he has done and how many people can do what he has done, and the power he has is insane. But I don't look at him like a Bill Gates, where he's using his power and skill and his ability to execute for, he did Microsoft, change the world. Now he's, eradicating diseases and trying to reinvent how toilets work in third world countries and all this amazing stuff. Jeff Bezos is just trying to squeeze profit out of some small to medium company in Toronto, doesn't care. You're making camera bags and you're selling on Amazon. They'll do it. They'll do it cheaper, and you have no control. How?
You mentioned you're on Shopify. They take a percentage too.
I don't mind if they take a percentage. They got to
Yeah.
make money. But Shopify has done nothing but provide tools. And
I fucking love Shopify, man.
Listen,
Great.
our shop-
What Toby has built is phenomenal.
yeah, I am I live out on King Street, and from my balcony, I can see the Shopify office, and like I can see that like Shopify bag logo like in neon. And sometimes at night I just stare at them like I love that company, and I'm just grateful that I can see it from my balcony.
Mm.
Like that's how much I love it. I just love looking at I am so grateful that it's down the street from me, what that company does, and I know people that work there, and I love it. But that first store we made, I told you when those orders came in, we're at Starbucks. We just took the photography we had from a crowdfunding campaign, and we pieced together a store based on a Shopify template. And I was heavily involved in making that website. I don't know anything about web development. Not an ounce of information. And I was a big part of whipping together that store, which all of a sudden was selling product. It's like so easy to get started. And the data they give you is so helpful. And it's just such an amazing platform. Like I love it. So I'm happy to be on there. It's competitive with anywhere else that you'd put your product on. And
I don't even know where else you can put your product.
I don't know, there's other like platforms you can have. You can use Squarespace and stuff like that, or you go and code your own I don't understand. Do you know what it is? Shopify is so good. I don't even understand why or how you would
have the
be
network
anywhere else.
effect, man. Shopify, especially with what are they called? Growth geniuses, you know what I'm talking about? Those like dev helpers, you can call them 24/7.
Yeah, the customer service is outstanding.
Yeah.
Access to experts is outstanding. So many stores are using Shopify that the checkout has become very familiar to a lot of people.
Yes.
So when I look at what I think is our like stock looking Shopify checkout, at first I was kind of like, this is amateur because ours should look more on brand. No, people are comfortable with the Shopify checkout. It's so ubiquitous. So Shopify is just another one of those companies. It just makes life easy. I don't without Indiegogo and Shopify, like how would we run this business? If this was 15 years ago, I would have to have like big money and big power to have the balls to go into the clothing industry, to start an e-commerce store. Like it doesn't make sense.
It's interesting, man, when you think about like entrepreneurship is becoming a lower barrier to entry.
Very low.
Yes.
You just have to rely on your ability to convince the customer that what you have is what they will benefit from, and do it in a way that
I want to say convince. Like, for example, we talked about this timing.
Mhm.
And number two, you found a product that's solving a problem.
Yeah.
Right. When you have to convince, that's artificial. Like, there's that marketing saying you can turn like, what was it, like silver to gold, but you can't turn like, or was it? You can shine silver to gold, but you can't turn copper into gold. Something like marketing can only take a product so far artificially until it gets diminishing returns.
Yeah.
But if you have a real product that's solving a deep rooted pain that people have, in this case is like, well, yeah, people travel, people sweat. People are tired of bringing 10 pieces of clothes.
Right.
You know, I was on my honeymoon last year. I can relate. I understand.
Yeah.
It's like, fuck, I can wear 3 shirts as opposed to bringing 10. I'm in.
And do you know what else like works for us is the fact that, and this is, I think, an advantage we have. I mean, it's just being in, I guess, a consumer packaged goods kind of product is, yeah, you might only need 2 shirts for that trip, but those shirts are not going to last you forever. And if you like the shirts, you might also like the long sleeve or underwear or sweat or hoodie. This is the crew sweatshirt, which is coming out next week. Like we have the ability to market more products and the same products to the same people. You know, like I think of like Luxy Hair, unbelievable business, but I guarantee they don't have people that have bought 15 times from them in 3 years. Who needs that many hair extensions? So as long as the product is really good, we have potentially a really long lifetime with that customer.
Yeah. Well, you did something really strategically clever is you took the word merino and you baked it into your brand name.
Yeah. Why do you say that's clever? Because I'll dispel the myth about what's so clever, but it's not that clever.
Well, to me, I view it as it's a material that's used. It's going to get a lot of natural searches on Google. The actual usage of it, globally speaking, is like there might be other companies using merino.
Yes.
But you have it baked into your actual brand.
Right.
That's clever to me.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a thought. The real reason we did it is because it was easier to get the trademark. You couldn't get Unbound. Unbound apparel, way harder.
But like, think about.
But no, we were thinking of like, yeah, we're positioning because to us, we felt a lot of people don't really know what merino wool is.
Exactly.
We found there was 2 types of people. There were people who knew it, and those were the outdoors type of people or the athletic type of people. And I met a few of them, and they'd be like, I have so much merino wool stuff. I love it. It's all I wear. But that was a very, very small
niche of people. Yeah.
Most people, they had no idea. I mean, they might have heard of merino wool, but they were thinking of toques and scarves and thinking it was very woolly. And they first asked, is it itchy? They don't realize it's super fine. It's like wearing a cotton shirt. Or they just like, they didn't realize it could be that fine that it's like a t-shirt. Like, how is that wool? That doesn't make sense. Is it like have those little woolly fibers? They just had no idea. And then when you teach them about what it is and they try it and they see it's like a really comfortable, like breathable, awesome shirt that performs like that, we were converting people. So because we had converted enough people from Indiegogo, we had that like word of mouth. It started, but we were really thinking of using the word merino in the brand name because that was part of what we were trying to accomplish in the marketing, is teaching people for the first time that merino wool is their new favorite t-shirt material. Like, it's not cotton. You know what I mean? It's not casual. I don't even work. Like, definitely not like a synthetic, like polyester. Those are terrible for the environment. They feel clammy in your skin. They could be anti-odor, but they're just like, it's actually not a good feeling material. So yeah, that was like our mission, is teaching people for the first time what merino is and how it will benefit them.
What has been your best as of late user acquisition channel?
The thing that we went hard on from the get-go was Facebook ads, which has been unbelievable. So we hired a consultant to teach us how to get started on it, but we did because of my previous experience in our old company with video production and also by way of that photography, we could do our own ads. And one of my business partners was a creative director at an ad agency, so we could do some copywriting. So we felt like we can do our own ads, but we just need to learn the Facebook ads platform. And because we had 2,000 customers from crowdfunding, we were able to create lookalike audiences of people who already bought our stuff and target those lookalikes. So of all people in the USA, who are the 1% who have the most similar online shopping behavior to the people who already bought our stuff, but are not those people. And, sometimes I would see these news reports of Zuckerberg, testifying and selling your data to Cambridge Analytica and how they know everything that you're doing, all this stuff. And I'm like, yeah, it's kind of gross. But also on the other end, that gave opportunities to people like me to compete with huge brands because we can be more clever in how we target the end customer, find new customers, be creative in our copywriting and our photography we use. And we got really, really deep into that. And that was the main source of new traffic for us. And when we first started, they performed incredibly. Now it's gotten a little bit more competitive, but it's still good. In the process of that, we invested in SEO and we rank on front page Google for most search terms. That took like 2 years to get there. We're just starting with some Google Ads, Google AdWords, and we're doing some PR stuff just to get articles out there. And we've been written up in Forbes, and Fast Company, and the Wall Street Journal, and we just always live under the assumption that there's no one way to acquire customers that's going to last for too long. Facebook ads has been glorious to us and it's still really good, but I don't think it's going to be that good in a few years. And I think if anyone is trying to sell a product online, they should be beating ads door down right now because it's good. It's still really good, but we are afraid like if this is all we have, what else is there? So that's why we started dabbling in PR, and we would try to make sure our SEO efforts
it's a 4-leg stool analogy.
Yeah, take off one.
Well, the thing is, like, if people rely on just one leg, you take that out.
Yeah,
you got nothing. But if you got 4 legs on a stool, you diversify.
Yeah, and just try. But we talked about this before, and you said you don't think it's the be all end all, and I said I disagree. The crown jewel of all marketing and we work hard to get that email list.
No, don't get me wrong. Listen, I think email still is the most powerful way to control your audience, to have a one-to-one direct communication. I just think the ROI that people talk about, it's going to be on a diminishing return.
Perhaps, but it's so much more powerful because when we send an email out now, we have tens of thousands on our email list. It generates so much because these are people. They're all people who are interested in your stuff or have bought your stuff.
Have you experimented with text messages?
No, that sounds creepy.
Why?
I don't know.
They opt in.
Maybe. I don't know. Is that a thing? Do people do that?
Big time.
I'd be super pissed if a company.
But you opt in.
Yeah.
You're giving permission. Like, yeah, here's my phone number, and I want to receive discounts. Like Gary Vee does it with his new wine company. It's called textwine.com or WineText, something like that. And he gives you a deal, wine deal of the day in your text message. You're like, yeah, I want this. Great deal.
Yeah, that's interesting. I should look into that.
Just
finding any of those little things. And it seemed bleak for a little bit because nothing was taking off like Facebook ads, but slowly, if you just keep at it, some things start. And now Facebook ads is still the most dominant, but I would say 40%, these are rough numbers, but 40% of our new customers are acquired through Facebook ads. About 30% would be organic search, which is much better than it was a year ago. It's huge.
That's great. That's intense search. That's great.
Yeah. But searching for our brand, but also like a lot of it's searching for merino wool t-shirts.
Sure.
It's not for us, but we come up high enough now. And then a good chunk of the rest of it is word of mouth and returning customers. So it's a nice spread. AdWords and Google Ads, we'll see how that pans out. I don't know how PR really plays into the percentage, but we had like, when we were in Fast Company, selling out of everything. Huge. But sometimes we were in Forbes and like didn't really do much for sales, but it looks cool.
Let me ask you a question about SKUs. Is there a strategy you guys determine what type of sizes for SKUs? Because that's a big issue too.
Yeah, we work with our accountant, who's just been a massive help to us in really crunching the numbers of what we sell. He like gets into it. So just trying to figure out like what are the patterns,
what moves, yeah.
Yes, and we just try to order based on that. It's always a struggle because you don't want to overorder.
Of course, then you're sitting on stock.
Yeah. But yeah, that hasn't been the biggest problem. For us, it's about what new products should we roll out. And I think because we originally identified the problem or the gap in the market that allowed us to think this is a good idea for a business, we do feel kind of like we're our own core customer and we know what we want next. So we rely on our own gut intuition a lot for what comes out next, but it's very simple and we roll out very few SKUs. And everything that we roll out there's no seasonality. Like if we over order, we'll sell through it eventually. It's not like we have to clear out the spring, summer. Like our stuff is plain black t-shirts or plain gray.
Mm-hmm.
And it looked fine if you were wearing it 10 years ago. It looks good today. It's going to look good in 10 years. So the change in fashion won't affect it. The season won't affect it because it's a travel product. So it doesn't matter if it's like February is our best selling month of the year. I still don't fully know why.
So what do you guys, you have t-shirts, you have hoodies.
Yeah, we have sweatshirts like this. We just released button down shirts, underwear, socks.
You're back in the sock business.
Yes. We're in the sock business.
Full circle.
Yeah. They're less funky now.
That's right.
In every way.
So what's the future, man? Any big plans with the company or anything that we should know about?
Actually, people have asked me this a bunch, like, well, where are you going to take it? Friends will ask me, like, what do you do? I'm like, honestly, I feel like I have so many years ahead of me of just rolling out product. Like, I'm not trying to create the next Zara. Like, we don't ever want to be in stores. We do all e-commerce.
Really no stores at all?
Zero.
Okay.
The only reason we want to be in a store is because a lot of people, when they find out we're in Toronto, some people want to like come and try a shirt on, and it's annoying. You're not going to come to our like warehouse. It's not set up like that.
You guys going to go to Mex or something?
I don't know. I think of maybe getting into one store just so if Toronto people ask and they want to go try it, they can go try it on.
Yeah.
And that's just to deal with like the annoyance factor of emails coming in.
Sure.
Just like, let them do. But that's the only reason. Maybe one day, and I don't even know why, like maybe if we found a good use case for why we want to do this, we'd have our own Unbound store. That's years out. We're not anywhere close to thinking of that right now. But if that's good for the brand and it makes some kind of business sense, I think it would be pretty cool if we had a store. Like you can start in Toronto or, maybe we do like Toronto, New York, Shanghai, and I don't know how much of that is because that would be a smart move. Like, Indochino has their like showrooms.
Exactly.
Like
yeah.
And how much of that would just be like the cool factor of like, oh, look how we have a store. Like it would be cool. But we'll cross that bridge when we get there. We just want to create new products, and our focus for what we roll out is eventually, if you go traveling anywhere, you could have your entire carry-on bag be full of Unbound, only Unbound clothing, and it would solve like it would fill every purpose. So if you're going out for some like a fancy date or like a business meeting, like any kind of situation, there's the Unbound version of that, which is classic, always looks good, super high performance, super high quality. All of the things that make it high performance will be a factor in it. So we have so many products to roll out. Like we already have the next 2 years of products, and that's just scratching the surface. And that's how long it takes us to self-fund our own stuff. If we ever got an investor, maybe we can roll out way faster. But honestly, it's going in a good direction. We're running it super lean, which is with the result of learning from my mistakes from my first business, where we grew the business so fast, and it was just like we were dumb mid-20s, no idea what we were doing, and all of a sudden we had a staff of 18 people to sell $100,000 a month to keep the lights on. And I was like so tired all the time. So this business is like lean, but it's scaling. Like, what do I need to do? Like, maybe one day I'd sell it, but why? I'm not like drawn to selling it. I mean, that'd be cool to get a big cash payout, but I'm not really doing it for the cash. I want it to make good money, because if it can, why would you not want to make money? But I'm not motivated by the money. I'm just liking building the thing.
The process.
It's just so fun. And I like building something I'm proud of. Like, I actually like this. I like when I have so many friends that wear exclusively our stuff. And it makes me feel good that we created something that turned people onto a different way of thinking about their own clothing.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a more environmental approach. You have your washing machine on less. It's less mental clutter. Like, there's people who buy 10 of our, 10 medium black crew necks, and that's all they have in their closet. Every day they're putting on a black crew neck because they don't want to think about what outfit to wear. They just want to put on a shirt. They know this is quality. They don't have to have their washing machine run. They're kind of changing, like, in a small way, the way people look at their clothing. And that feels cool, because it was a change that I came across myself, and we do it better than other people were. So I feel good about it. And I think I'm in it for quite a while. I don't see the end in the near future of me just rolling out products and building it and trying to get better.
Well, Demsky, I appreciate you sharing your story, man.
Hey, it's cool to be here.
If people want to get more information about Unbound and what you do, what's the best resource?
Unboundmerino.com. So Unbound, UNBOUND, and Merino's MERINO.com. We're on Instagram, and we're on Twitter, but not really. Probably should be more, but
yeah. All right, guys and gals, thank you for listening for another episode of Ameer Approved. Like always, if you're watching this on YouTube, please leave a comment, like, and share. And if you're listening to this on iTunes, Google, and all those nice podcast spots, please leave a review. Each review helps. And you can catch this episode on ameerrosic.com in the near future, where you can see all the show notes and etc. Till next time, guys, have a great day and talk to you guys soon. Later.